It's been said that pain is temporary, but film is forever. Perhaps that's why some of cinema's best scenes come from making actors suffer. Whether it's being put in a barrel with raw fish or having to eat it, saying something nasty about another character, or sharing a sex scene with them, there are plenty of things that can make an actor uncomfortable on set. If they're lucky, the scene can be done in just a few takes, but some of these scenes can take literally months. Here are 20 amazing scenes that actors hated shooting. Captain America: Civil War. The first teaser trailer of Captain America: Civil War features a shot of Steve Rogers stopping a helicopter from taking off with his bare hands. Chris Evans beefed up even more for his 5th outing as Captain America, and the filmmakers wanted to show this off by having him actually strain against a crane holding a helicopter. This gave the effect of Evans' very real muscles bulging, and co-director Joe Russo said that it's the most powerful shot of the film. The Force Awakens. To shoot the scenes that take place on Rey's home planet of Jakku, the cast and crew of Star Wars: The Force Awakens spent the first part of the film's production in the blazing desert heat of Abu Dhabi. Actors Daisy Ridley and John Boyega trained on treadmills for all the running they'd have to do, but that didn't prepare them for the added challenge of running on sand. Ridley said running on the combination of hard and soft sand was killer on the legs, and she was actually thankful for the shots that included explosions, because that usually meant fewer takes. Mad Max: Fury Road. Since Mad Max was essentially a 2-hour car chase in the desert, the film was extremely trying on the cast and crew. Tom Hardy in particular struggled to see George Miller's vision through the sand and sweat of the production. Both Miller and co-star Charlize Theron described Hardy as difficult to work with, but once Hardy saw the final product, he was thoroughly impressed and apologized to Martin and Theron for failing to see the big picture while on set. The Hunger Games: Mockingjay Part 2. The Hunger Games cast has said multiple times that the hardest scene in Mockingjay to shoot was the sewer scene. It was 3 weeks of shooting in an actual hot sewer that Liam Hemsworth, the tallest cast member, couldn't even stand up straight in. It didn't help matters that their costumes were super absorbent, adding up to 20 pounds of water weight. The Shining. In a production that by all accounts took a big toll on Shelley Duvall, there was one scene in particular that earned a spot in the history books. When Wendy is wielding a baseball bat to defend herself from her deranged husband Jack, Duvall needed to maintain a hysterical state for 127 takes. We're not sure that there was much acting involved by that last one. The Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug. For all the CGI Peter Jackson used in his Hobbit films, you'd think some fish would be easy to fake. But for the lake town scene in which the dwarves hide in barrels, the actors had to be covered in real fish. Adam Brown, who played Ori, actually has a phobia of fish, so he wasn't very happy about being covered head to toe in their juices. The Revenant. Say what you will about Leonardo DiCaprio, but you can't deny his commitment to a role, particularly in regards to his work on The Revenant. It's now a well-known fact that there was nothing fake about the raw bison liver that he makes a meal of, and while any meat eater would probably have a hard time with this, the fact that Leo is usually a vegetarian made this an even tougher pill to swallow. The Exorcist. The famous vomit scene from The Exorcist was not fun for anyone. The projectile pea soup was meant to hit actor Jason Miller in the chest, but accidentally hit him in the face. His shocked reaction you see is real, and he was not happy about it. Linda Blair hated vegetables so much at the time that the use of the pea soup actually did make her vomit, though fortunately not in Jason Miller's face again. Django Unchained. One of Leonardo DiCaprio's first days of filming on Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained was a dinner scene that he shared with co-stars Samuel L. Jackson and Jamie Foxx. DiCaprio had to stop in the middle of a take at one point because he was struggling with the character's excessive use of the N-word. Jackson famously pulled him aside and said, "Motherfucker, this is just another Tuesday for us." Apparently this helped, as there's nothing sugar-coated about DiCaprio's performance of slave owner Calvin Candy, and Django Unchained holds the all-time record for the most uses of the N-word with 116 uses. Guardians of the Galaxy. Every Guardian of the Galaxy has a near-death experience at some point in the film. As Drax, Dave Bautista had one of the most difficult scenes to survive. After losing a fight against Ronan, Drax nearly drowns before Groot pulls him out of a pool of yellow liquid. Bautista was already recovering from a cold and could barely speak, yet he was required to be shirtless, freezing, and covered in goo while delivering a scene which serves as the emotional center of his character. On top of that, he gets mocked by a raccoon. Black Swan. There is nothing sexy about shooting a sex scene. Surrounded by crew and worrying about minute technical details is not an aphrodisiac for most actors. Black Swan was no exception when it came time for Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis to film their sex scene. While audiences seem to enjoy the finished product, the longtime friends have both gone on record saying it was one of the hardest scenes to shoot, though Kunis denies the rumor that they did shots of tequila to help get through it. The Evil Dead. To achieve the creepy, wide-eyed look of the Deadites in the first Evil Dead film, director Sam Raimi used crude contact lenses that were uncomfortable and made the actors virtually sightless. During the scene when the possessed Linda attempts to stab Ash with a dagger, actress Betsy Baker actually had no idea where co-star Bruce Campbell was, so there wasn't much acting required as he defended himself from the blind actress. X-Men Apocalypse. The Quicksilver scene was arguably the best part of X-Men Days of Future Past. With the character returning for X-Men Apocalypse, fans are anxious to see how they'll top it. And it sounds like we won't be disappointed. There's only a couple of seconds of it in the trailer, but Quicksilver's run in the X-Mansion was shot with a 3D Phantom camera traveling at 50 miles per hour, while shooting at 3,100 frames per second. Actor Evan Peters spent more time on set than any other actor on the film, with the scene reportedly taking 3.5 months to film. Hot Fuzz. The Brits take their football pretty seriously, so make sure you don't ever get caught calling it soccer around them. For the scene in Hot Fuzz where Nick Frost is trying to break through his partner's tough exterior, director Edgar Wright chose a very particular shirt for Frost to wear, a jersey sporting colors of the Bristol Rovers football team. As a die-hard West Ham United fan, Frost hated wearing the jersey for the scene. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? In What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Johnny Depp's title character is embarrassed by his obese mother and insults her when she's not around. Depp hated referring to the character played by co-star Darlene Cates as a beached whale so much that he felt guilty about it and apologized to the actress later, even though it was all done in character. The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. When shooting the scene where Katniss, Finnick, and Peeta eat fish on the beach, the actors were actually eating raw fish. It was sushi grade snapper, but that didn't make it any easier for the cast members who didn't like fish, particularly Jennifer Lawrence. She said in an interview that raw fish tastes just like it smells, then gagged just thinking about it. Her co-stars apparently found her struggle very amusing. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. In order to increase the squirm factor after having 10,000 snakes in the first Indiana Jones film, Spielberg arranged for 50,000 cockroaches and 30,000 beetles to be brought in the set for the bug scene in the Temple of Doom. Many of them had to be placed on Spielberg's future wife Kate Capshaw, who said that she had to take a Valium before filming in order to calm her nerves. Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace. British actor Terence Stamp said in an interview that he took a role in Episode 1 of Star Wars for two reasons: pressure from his agents, and to work with Natalie Portman. When it came time to shoot his scene with Portman, she was nowhere to be seen. He asked Lucas where she was, and Lucas pointed at a piece of paper for reference. Stamp did not reprise his role, and he described the experience as boring and said that actors prefer to work with actors. Batman. While Michael Keaton was clearly having fun with his scenes as Bruce Wayne in Tim Burton's Batman, he wouldn't say the same for his scenes as the Caped Crusader. In 1989, superhero costumes weren't nearly as advanced as they are today, and Keaton could barely move in his. He said the costume made him extremely claustrophobic, but he worked that into the character by making every little movement extremely deliberate and calculated. Suicide Squad. While we haven't seen the movie yet, we've heard enough stories from the set of Suicide Squad to know that Leto's Joker made some of his co-stars a little uncomfortable. While the rest of the cast rehearsed together, Leto was off working on his own brand of crazy while sending them strange gifts. When he did show up to shoot his scenes, Leto refused to break character between takes. It made for a weird energy on set, so director David Ayer brought in a therapist to set just in case the actors became a little too tormented. Now that you've seen our 20 amazing scenes that actors hated shooting, we hope you feel like you know your movies a little better. If we missed any, let us know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.